Hello everyone, and we have some breaking, delicious, juicy, ripe news for the dissecting, like a peeled banana. And I choose that fruit very deliberately because it is very relevant, because we've got some monkey business to attend to. So, we know Winston's origin story for the most part, right? The TLDR then is that he was part of a group of apes that were living in a lunar colony on the moon, surprisingly, as a way to test how they would cope with habitation in space. And they were also being subjected to various tests, experiments, genetic therapy, genetic engineering. Winston himself especially took to these tests and developed rapid intelligence, curiosity, to the point that he was specifically taken under the wing of the scientist human called Winston, his namesake, and he developed and grew at an unparalleled successful rate. However, this lunar colony went a little Planet of the Apesy, which kinda threw Winston's life into just a teeny little bit of turmoil, and having seen the apes that were being experimented on kinda, well, go apeshit on the humans and take over, he managed to escape back to Earth by building himself a makeshift rocket, the first sign of his ingenuity as a scientist. And that basically was it. That's what we know. But just recently, and I mean really just recently, we suddenly know a lot more, because communication with this lunar colony named Horizon, keep that in mind, has been re-established. Lucheng Interstellar is the company that's responsible for it. They've had a press conference and they've said we've managed to get into some of the colony's databases and retrieve some files. In this case, messages between various the human scientists on board. And what they reveal is, oh, it is tasty for the future of Overwatch. I'd argue tastier than peanut butter.
Don't get me angry.
Don't hurt me, Winston! First one, then, we have Nevsky to Winston the person. And this is the gorillas are being confined to quarters. And this is the start of the end. They're getting out of hand. They're being troublesome. Hell, they have hospitalized one of the scientists. They're reacting badly to either the genetic manipulation or just being in space, or maybe both. But he's describing them as a serious threat. Hell, he wants to confine every single gorilla to quarter to show that they're not playing favorites. So if they've got to the level where a gorilla can understand, take in, and process the idea of favorite playing, then they are further far along than your average gorilla. So that's interesting by itself. Then we have another message from Applause to everyone to check the damn ventilation system, because there is strange, spooky noises clattering through it. Keep that in mind as well as we move on to this one, and this is from Winston himself talking about the confinement of the gorillas, and he is all for it because he is struggling to see a solution to actually socializing them. They're getting more intelligent, but they're not getting more, let's say, mild-mannered. And he's like, well, we like to think of them as teaching teenagers children, but the potential and the danger is so much more than that. And he's like, they really might just be reacting negatively. I think we maybe need to just discontinue having this genetic therapy, but too little, too late. And then what we have here is from Zhang, and this is concerning, at least I think so, the noises in the vent. He's saying, has anybody seen Hammond, who is one of the specimens on board? And he's missing for a week, an empty cage, and then he specifically mentions it's a smaller test subject. And where could a smaller test subject escape and hide out? In the ventilation system. Keep that in mind. Then we move on to really a big issue, and this is from Winston to everyone. There's an emergency. The airlock E35 is malfunctioning, and obviously a malfunctioning airlock when you're in space isn't the best thing in the world. And I have a feeling that Mr. Hammond, the escapee, might be a little bit responsible for a tad bit of sabotage. And we'll get on about that later, but needless to say, it is a little bit beastie. Boy, this is exciting, isn't it? And then finally, the most glorious of all of the screenshots, this map of the colony, along with tracking of all of the specimens. We see the airlock that malfunctioned over at E, it's an observatory, and seemingly this area has no life signs in it, it's just being cut off, it's just being abandoned. Then we get to the specimen tracking. We have ourselves 7 gorillas that are accounted for somewhere. They seem to be nicely spread out, like they are roaming. Whereas the humans seem to be in clusters together. And this to me implies one of two things. Either they are being tracked as corpses, or they weren't actually killed, but they are subservient, and they are hiding out in these clusters, locked away in these areas, waiting and hoping for salvation. And in either case, that's kind of dark, isn't it? I mean, there's a third option that maybe, as it turns out, they didn't go full Planet of the Apes and everything's still kind of fine. But then again, why would have Winston had to escape to Earth if that's the case? And you'll notice the specimen that's not been found is Winston, and obviously we know why, he's on Earth. But look at who else isn't there. Hammond, who is of course the small specimen, small enough to be stealthy for being a escapee for weeks in vents. And this is where I think the speculation is very juicy. What if Hammond also escaped the colony? What if behind Winston he was also taking to the treatment very well, but a little bit less noticeably than Winston? What if he managed to escape via his own means, or snuck into Winston's makeshift rocket? He's small, they like to stress that he's small, and got to Earth with Winston. That could be interesting, right? The other option is that he's still on the lunar base, but somehow is managing to fool the detection system. I think this Hammond is definitely a key character. There's a reason he's not found like Winston. And I would go as far to say is that there is a likely chance, or at least it would not surprise me, if we had ourselves a new monkey humanoid-y intelligent hero called Hammond. And maybe just to be an antithesis to Winston, he's not so nice. He's a little bit on the I'ma rip your arms off side of things. But then again, he is small, so we could have a really small, agile, climbing primate that's really good at staying hidden. Hell, imagine if Sombra was a monkey! And look, we have more to back this up. I'm not just going on wild speculation here. Recently, Jeff himself has said the next hero is on the horizon. Now, obviously, that just sounded like a way of phrasing it, but now that we have this Hammond, we have more information over what happened to do with Winston. It is the Horizon Lunar Colony. Maybe he's just being coy, a little bit of a tease here. It is literally on the horizon. Because there's been lots of talks, lots of theory, lots of teases that they do want to, and we are going to get at some point, a moon map. The idea of us going back to space, now that connection has been re-established, a rescue or at least search and find out what happened mission to the Horizon Lunar Colony, and that becomes an event game mode. That is a mission that is played out. Maybe it's one of new Overwatch's post-recall first missions. Winston would definitely want to go, obviously. It would be of passion to him. Maybe this is going to be an Uprising-esque event, but not in the past, in the present. And we're going to find out more details of what happened. This Hammond character is going to come into play. Hell, through data mining, we have had Winston saying, to go back to the moon? I don't know. And if that doesn't give you a chilling bit of, hang on a minute, I don't know what does. Even on Ijang, there have been a few in the garden section of the map. A pillar with an advertisement for a space program has literally changed to be a satellite and a moon. And we've had little map change hints at future events multiple times, as big a scale as posters changing and as little scale as the Orisa bots being destroyed. Reverse those two things round there. And that is what I make of this as an initial, oh my god, this is cool, exciting, here it is, bold prediction. A future hero that is a monkey with lots of hyper-intelligence, like Winston. Maybe not so much on the good side. I'm going to go for chaotic neutral. That's what I'm going to go for. We have a mission on this Horizon Lunar Colony. We find out once and for all what's actually going down there, and generally, it's pretty awesome. It's gonna happen, right? It's gotta happen. Get fucking excited. My name has been Rage. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. A good boy.